Badness, the only podcast that's had amnesia the entire time. My name is Mitchell McIntyre.
And I'm Vanessa Vogel.
And we're back. If you didn't follow us, last week, instead of doing a regular everyday episode, we did a live stream of the Netflix series, Fast and Furious Spy Racers. And boy, that was a mistake.
Boy, was it.
Just to kind of like catch you up, it's got nothing to do with the series whatsoever, really, outside of the fact that Dominic Toretto is in it, kind of. And he looks exactly like Mr. Clean. He does. You can see it on my Twitter. That's twitter.com/emptysquare for those of you in the know. So we did ourselves a live stream. You can find that on YouTube. YouTube.com/The Bright Wall Podcast Network. Or you can just look up Binging with Badness, if you're so inclined. If you're over on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, you already know. But yes, and so before we get into the show itself, I announced this on the live stream, but I'm going to start shilling it to you now. For those of you who don't know, we have a Patreon. You should know because we talk about it at the end of every episode. And I thought, we need a way to drum up some interest in people wanting to give us money. And so I thought, what does the internet like more than cats? People in pain.
I was about to say punching Nazis.
Oh, I love punching Nazis.
Right? We love punching Nazis and we love cats. But if you punch a cat, we will kill you. That
is true. There's a whole documentary about that.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that. But so I had an idea. If you know me personally, which some of you do, you know that I have what I affectionately refer to as a baby mouth. In that I hate spicy foods. Now, it's not that like I can deal with it, I just don't like it. I mean, any sort of spice in anything renders me infertile. I can no longer have children.
Well, we should have talked about that before.
Yeah, you knew it was coming. Yeah, so like I'm just talking like regular like sriracha. People love sriracha. I can't stand it because it makes me hurt.
I can sneak it into your food. You're fine.
And I've never understood the love of spicy food.
It tastes good.
I get spices, obviously, but not just spice for the sake of spice. I avoid it like the plague, and all my friends make fun of me for it because they're, better than me. But I thought, I'm going to take one for the team. So if we can hit $3,000 a month on the Patreon, which is a lot, considering we are at $78 right now.
Yeah.
If we can hit $3,000 on the Patreon, I will go through. There's a show on YouTube called Hot Ones. Oh. And what they do, I'm sure you've seen it, but they go through an ascending scale of hot sauces from kind of hot to death. And then they ask questions for each hot sauce. And I've always wanted to do that because I'm a moron.
Cute, no.
So if there's a reason it's $3,000, that's so far away because I don't want to do it. But if we hit $3,000, that means I can make this my full-time job.
That is also true.
So if that's the price I pay, I will do it. So if we can hit $3,000 a month for, more than a month, they sell all 10 hot sauces.
Oh, no.
I will buy them. We will toss them. We will take your questions on the Patreon. Vanessa will ask them to me.
Yep.
And I will go up the Hot Ones gauntlet.
Do you ever want to play Ask a White Man?
Yes. Ask me your whitest questions.
Yes, yogurt is too spicy.
Yogurt is not too spicy. I'm not that bad. The voice probably doesn't help. But that's our next goal. $3,000 a month, and I will do this awful spice challenge that I'm immediately regretting. But I think that's a good way to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we'll be in Canada by then. Mm-hmm. So I'll have free healthcare when I inevitably have to go to the emergency room. But because it wouldn't be any fun to do that on a podcast, it'll be a video. We'll record it. I'll get fancy lights. It'll be dope. But yeah, so that's the plan. So if you or your friends want to see somebody who kind of looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy self-immolate, that is our goal for the next little bit.
Guys, there's a better way of going about this. You know that, right?
I know there is, but I think this is the best kind of push. Whether it happens this year, next year, 10 years down the line, if we hit $3,000 a month, that is what I'll do. It's very far away because I don't want it to happen. Mm-hmm. And also, I don't think it's gonna. Mm-hmm. I feel kind of comforted in the knowledge that I don't think we're ever going to get that high. But it's not so far away. I didn't ask for $10,000. I think it's a good goal.
Okay.
And I panic. But that is for the future. Uh-huh. Today is for the now. We just finished watching Fast and Furious 6. The 6th in the Fast and Furious franchise.
I'm pissed, guys.
Did you not like it, or
no,
you just
it's
for
the fact that the goddamn is gone now?
You can't. You gotta. You're getting cut. You can't spoil these things in the middle of. Well,
you asked.
I know, but you can be more vague about it.
Nah.
Some of the choices were iffy. But I don't know. Overall, I will say this is the first time this has happened to me. Whenever I do my notes, I write on the Keep app on like Google Keep.
Okay.
It's great. It's nice. It's basically the notes app.
Mm-hmm.
I filled up an entire note. I couldn't write any more. This is the first Fast and Furious movie I've had to use 2 on.
There's a maximum capacity for
Yeah. I didn't think there would be.
Hmm.
This only happens to me when I write Brightwell episodes.
Oh.
So I guess I had a lot to say here. But Fast and Furious 6 is the final film in the series to be directed by Justin Lin. And I think this is his best one. Out of all the ones he's directed.
Which ones did he direct?
3, 4, 5, 6.
3, 4, 5, 6?
Yeah.
I mean, those are the good ones so far. Good.
You hated 3.
Yeah, I hated 3 for a lot of reasons. But it was pretty, and we got to go through Shibuya Crossing. The good part of it is here.
Yeah, you know what? We saw... we will flash back to 3. So, the film stars... Get ready for this. Vin Diesel, Paul Walker... Dwayne Johnson, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Tyrese Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges, Sung Kang, Gal Gadot, Luke Evans, and Gina Carino, who can fuck herself. Gina Carino?
Yeah. What?
Have you not heard about Gina Carino?
No, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay. Gina Carino. Some people are going to be mad that I'm talking about this. Gina Carino was in The Mandalorian. She was new mom.
Oh! All right, yeah.
And she is
Oh.
Off her nut.
Right. She's cray-cray, isn't she?
She's absolutely nuts. She's just a vicious, vile, like, racist, transphobe, Trump supporter, QAnon nutcase. Like, all she had to do was shut the fuck up and keep her job on Star Wars.
Yeah.
But up, she could not fuck. So, she's in this movie. I forget who she must be, Riley.
The female agent.
The new girl? Yeah. I think that's who she is. But if that is true, I will double check real quick because I forgot she was here. We won't have to worry about her much after this. Spoiler alert. But yeah, so this is, like I said, the last movie directed by Justin Lin. The next film is actually going to be directed by James Wan, who you might know from creating the Saw franchise.
Oh, so this is going to get real ridiculous.
I was going to say, well, we're already kind of real ridiculous.
Kids, we are one movie away in the Saw franchise from going to space.
We're one in the Fast and Furious from going to space, too. So Gina Carano's here. She can fuck off forever.
Well, that's pretty much how that movie ends, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So our plot: professional criminal gang led by Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel, are offered amnesty and for their crimes by the U.S. Diplomatic Security Service, or DSS, agent Luke Hobbs, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, in exchange for helping him take down a skilled mercenary organization led by Owen Shaw, Luke Evans. This movie has completely abandoned racing cars.
I mean, it didn't.
Like, this is not, like, they have cars, so naturally, like, they race, but this is not a street racing film. The fifth movie was supposed to be The Split, and Split we have. Because this is entirely a spy film.
Yep.
It is an action film. It is a spy film. It is very similar to, like... It's like if Triple X was good. Speaking of Vin Diesel movies. You ever watch Triple X?
No.
Piece of shit.
Has Vin Diesel ever done a good movie? Like,
yeah, these.
No. These are not great movies. I'm talking about, like, he actually gave a performance that wasn't him speaking in a monotone.
The Iron Giant.
Fair enough.
Yes, he's speaking in a monotone there, but, like, it serves the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Vin Diesel was the voice of the Iron Giant.
Oh yeah, and he's also in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and if you're asking for something where he's on screen, Saving Private Ryan.
Really, he was in that?
Yep.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, we talked about that when this first started. That's 1999, I want to say, is when the movie came out. It's a great movie. We watched it in history class in high school. Do not watch it in history class in high school.
Your teacher was real hungover that day, huh?
It was the end of the year. But yeah, so, you know, Vin Diesel has his place.
Yeah, okay.
And it's here.
Fair enough.
But I don't think he's ever going to be in the same, like, echelon as even The Rock. Because, you know, in these movies, he's an action hero, you know, in the same vein as Sly Stallone or, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I don't think he's got, I don't know, the charisma, I guess? If he's not smoldering, he's really nothing.
Yeah.
And you look at The Rock, who, by the way, I mentioned this in my notes, but Luke Hobbs was written like an asshole in episode 5.
Yes.
And he has continued to write like an asshole in episode 6.
I believe he is still an asshole in Hobbs and Shaw. Like,
you know what? Now that we're gonna have to rewatch it, obviously, because now that I know who he is, I want to double check.
I'm pretty sure.
I think
right. That's just his character.
I will bet you're right.
But it's The Rock, so we'll watch anything with The Rock in it. So.
And I think this is the movie where Paul Walker really comes into his own. Like, he's solid.
There was some acting talent.
He had some, yeah. Like, you can see some acting. Like, there he goes. This is, like, he can carry this beyond the series. Which makes it just all the more fucking tragic what happened to him. And it's only going to get sadder as we go into the 7th movie.
Is 7 the last one?
7 is the last one.
Okay.
So... that is where we're at. But to get to 7, we got to get through 6. So curtain up. We open with a familiar sight. Hang on to your hats here, folks. Dominic Toretto and Brian O'Connell are driving. They are racing through the picturesque streets of the Canary Island in Spain. What I thought they were doing was finishing up their race from episode 5. What they're actually doing is racing towards the hospital because Mia is about to give birth.
So it's within range of episode. It's not immediately following, but it's in range.
It's,
She
you know,
was
a month or two.
Looking like she was gonna pop at the end of that movie.
So we're not too far off. So as they pull up, Brian is still kind of trepidatious about being a father. Like, there's no, this is it. Like, you're stuck. And so he goes, like, Dom sees this and he goes, "You're gonna be a great father." And Brian goes, "How do you know?" Dom says, "Because I'm gonna kick your ass if you're not." Amen.
That's a great way to respond to that question.
Yeah.
I'm behind that. Good job, Vin Diesel. Also, can I point out that hospital was sparkling immaculate white
for being what looks to be like a Catholic church?
Yeah, it's one of those old. It's not like a traditional hospital. It's like a fucking sanctuary run by nuns.
Yeah, I was gonna say there were nuns,
and like she is in a sparkling white room wearing a sparkling white robe, perpetuating the lie of pregnancy and childbirth, because there is nothing clean or sacred about childbirth.
What is it from 30 Rock?
What?
It's like, "Are you okay?" He goes, "No, everything about this is disgusting."
What was it that they said in Scrub? Prepare for your cooch to be on display and for you to pee, poop, and fart in front of everybody?
Yep. That is nothing's good about giving birth, except for the kid at the end, I guess.
The kid's great, but there's a lot of goo between
here and the kid.
And the kid. Like
a lot of goo. So Dom also states that the second he leaves this room, you're a father now, and life has changed forever. Our life is done. No more stealing stuff. Given that this is movie 6 of 9, I highly doubt that. So he comes in, there is a baby born, and we get the opening credits, which opens up exactly how you would imagine a Fast and Furious TV show would. We get, like, flashbacks to, like, scenes that happened during the series. Everybody's names pop up. And then at the very end, it's like, Fast and Furious 6. And they're all, like, slow motion walking towards the... Like, you could set this to, like, "I never thought it would be so simple, but I found a way." It would be the same thing.
Well, it was also kind of a previously on segment, because it was just like, this is where we want, this is Letty, and all the other stuff. Like, if you knew what the hell you were looking at, it's a previously on segment, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it looks just like a TV show, like the Fast and the Furious TV show, Wednesdays at 8. So, after this, we go to Luke Hobbs with his new underling, given that Elena has now shacked up with Dom. Riley is her name. I think it's Riley Hawk.
I just called her not Elena.
Excuse me, Riley Hicks.
Sure.
Riley Hicks is played by Gina Carano, who, everybody again, can fuck herself. That is the last time I will say her name. They are in Russia because somebody is stealing stuff. They believe it to be international criminal mastermind Owen Shaw. We don't know why. It fits his MO. And his MO is exactly that of Dominic. In that they all have cars, they're all very good at driving, and they drove that car into a building.
Yeah, it's upside down on, like, the 6th floor. Like, how the hell did you pull that one off?
And after you watch the finale of this film, you'll know how they pulled it off. Hobbs gets a guy into the interrogation room who I thought for a second was Vinnie Jones. But
I thought he somehow got Vin Diesel. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, so as he goes up to the guy, it is a big, bald, white man in a wife beater. You're supposed to think it's Dominic. But he turns around and it's just some schmuck. So he's like, "Hey, some schmuck, tell me what's going on." And he goes, "I'm not telling you anything." So Hobbs then proceeds to beat 7 shades of shit out of him.
Yeah, it's a fucking cage fight.
To elicit information. When asked if it's illegal, Riley says no. Or when asked if it's legal, Riley says no, but are you going to be the one to stop him? All right, that's all I need.
Police. Corrupt everywhere.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you're Interpol or local. Corruption.
Yeah, basically. He says Owen Shaw is in London. We are in Moscow. Gonna be a bit of a drive. Back in Spain, Dominic and Elena are having a pretty solid morning. As he gets out of bed and he goes tinker with his toys, and I think he's building an engine or something like that.
Something like that.
when out of nowhere, really, The Rock shows up.
Like, what up?
And he's like, hey, so this is what $100 million buys you? And he goes, yeah, I like it here. It's quiet. He goes, yeah, you weren't that hard to track down. And Dom's like, I wasn't trying to be hard to track down. What do you want?
There's no extradition here. No reason to
Yeah, the reason why he's in Spain is there's no extradition.
Fair enough. Like, why
works for me, yeah.
if Spain's not going to kick you out of the country anyway?
They are hundreds of millionaires at this point.
Yeah. You play your cards right, you could probably make that stretch for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Even if you play your cards wrong, it's pretty hard to fuck up $100 million.
I mean, Roman had a plane.
And Tej actually spends quite a bit of money at that. Well, we'll get there. Hobbs tells him about the robbery in Moscow and that the team is basically a bunch of highly precise drivers, how they went in and stole a bunch of stuff. Dom says it can't be me because I don't do cold. And he's like, yeah, no, I get that. I don't think it's you, but I want you to help me bring him in. And Dominic's like, why the hell would I do that? What in our relationship together makes you think I want to do that? And he hands him a picture. It's the picture we saw at the end of the last movie. Letty Ortiz, previously thought to be dead.
Super dead.
And he says, not only are you going to help me, you're going to be begging to help me. Not only are you going to be begging to help me, I'll be right downstairs. Hands him the picture. Elena's behind him. And she's like, it's Letty, isn't it? And he's like, She goes, look, if it was my husband and I had even a 1% chance to know he was alive, I would take it. This is the most interesting thing Elena will do the whole movie, as she is not in it at all.
I mean, she's in it at the end.
A very little bit.
So is Dom and Elena just fuck buddies? Is that what?
Well, I believe they were in a relationship, but at this point, Elena's like, if your girl wife is alive, you gotta go check. I mean, Jesus. Elena has no character, but bless her for being like this hardcore, like supportive, to the point where it's gonna end their relationship. So there you go.
Elena, clearly the better choice versus Letty.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. Like I have written down here, Hobbs is still written like an asshole because as Toretto goes down, he says, trust me, the last thing I want right now is to be on your doorstep selling Girl Scout cookies. Who talks like that?
The Rock. The Rock cutting a promo.
I get it. Like, I write scripts too. And it's hard. Sometimes you need to expel information and you're like, this is funny. Maybe this will work. But then you say it out loud in your brain and you go, ooh, no. But they didn't go, ooh, no. They went, yeah. So Toretto is like, I'm going to do this alone. No crew. And Hobbs is like, A, that's dumb. B, you always use a crew. C, that's dumb. Shut up. If you go in alone, he's going to kick your ass. He's got so many things around. You're just doomed. You need a crew. You have a crew. Go use the crew. So the crew. Everybody seems to be in Spain for some reason.
Are they?
Yeah, pretty much. Roman is on a private jet that he owns with a ton of models. Good to see it's working out well for him.
Can I talk about Roman's plane real quick?
Go for it.
One, it's a fucking living room on the inside.
Yes.
And two, he has done the thing that we all secretly wanted. That's on the side of the plane. It says, it's Roman, bitches.
Yes. Yes, he did.
Like, he may be bad with money, but he speaks to my I wish I was wealthy quite a bit.
Look,
like,
when you got that much money, go for it. Tej is, he's got so much money he doesn't have to, like, worry about anything. So he's hacking ATMs just to give money to random passerbys. Because,
why not?
And I quote, he says, I do this because money doesn't grow on trees. It rains from the sky. Pop! And just money everywhere. Han and Giselle, I believe, are in Korea?
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, excuse me. And they're just kind of hanging out, getting some street food, asking about what we're going to do with our lives. You know, we're rich.
They were having actually a serious conversation. Like, do you want to settle down? Which is a big question.
Yeah. And then Giselle is like, yeah, let's do you want to settle down and just find a place somewhere? This has been fun, but, you know.
Apparently they've been globetrotting. So,
yeah,
you know,
we're our late 30s, man. Fuck. And Hannah's like, yeah, you know, I guess maybe that would be nice. And then they are immediately besieged upon by guys with guns.
Yeah, it's like the Hong Kong PD.
Everybody just swarms them, and they're like, whoa. And they both take out a gun, and they do like a back-to-back lethal weapon spot.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hell yeah.
What did we call it in Brooklyn Nine? The man sprinkler?
The bullet sprinkler? No, I think it was the man sprinkler. It should have been the bullet sprinkler.
Jake called it the man sprinkler, but it was actually bullet tornado.
Yeah, bullet tornado. That's the one. So they do that, and they do the spin. But the one police officer tosses them a phone. He answers it, and it's Dominic Toretto. We also go to everybody. They all have a phone call, and it's Dom for everybody. Avengers assemble. Brian and Mia are hanging out on their fancy new house in Spain with their baby boy. Just being the cutest fucking family.
Yeah, they were just sitting on the lawn, the baby's being nice, which I've heard babies just don't do sometimes. And he was just like, hey, you want this little car? And baby was like, I am baby.
I am baby. I have no discussion whatsoever.
What is car? And he's like, this. You want this car.
So there's a running thing. Brian is all about those Nissan Skyline souped up street racing cars we see from like Too Fast, Too Furious. And Dom is all about American muscle. So throughout the whole thing, he got little baby Jack. Jack is the baby's name. And he's playing with cars. And so Dom shows up. And he's just like, hey, I bought the little guy something. And it's like a little Charger. Like a Charger model. And they're just like, you know, he's definitely an O'Connor. Look at him play with the Skyline. He goes, yeah, but there's one thing you're forgetting. He's also a Toretto. And he hands him like the Charger, and the baby's like, hell yeah. And Brian's just like, damn it. I'm flanked.
He's just like, oh, you're trying to get him hooked on imports?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a cute little scene. But it is time to shatter some happy-go-lucky illusions. Because Brian and Dom start talking, and Brian's like, this is weird, you know? I got the family, I got the beer and the barbecue, and I this is what I wanted, but it's just not home. There's something wrong with it. Well, probably because you're in Spain.
And everyone speaks Spanish, and you don't.
Yeah, and Dom is like, hey, good news, bad news. Letty is alive. And he shows him the picture, and Brian's like, see, I used to do this all the time as a cop. This picture's fake. They faked it into getting you to work with him. Like, I'm a cop, dude. That's how this works. And Dom is like, yeah, but what if it isn't? And Brian's like, it is, though. It 100% is. They're fucking with you. Letty's dead. Sorry. And Dom is just like, yeah, but I gotta try. And then Brian's just like, then I'm coming with you. And he's like, no, man, that's not what we're here for. Yeah, first of all, yes, it is. You didn't come to me and go, I'm going to leave for a bit. You wanted me to say, I'm going to come too. And he's like, no, you got a baby. You got a son. I can't do that. And Mia's like, yeah, but I'm still going to be here. And you two work better together anyway.
And me and Elena will hang out and take care of the baby.
Yeah. And so, aces, we're on it. So, we go to London, England. The majority of this movie takes place here. And the budget for this movie, for this series, has gone through the roof.
Yeah, that's true.
You can tell just by the way the camera moves. We are no longer like some hip indie street racing film. This is a big budget summer blockbuster tentpole film. Because they do that thing where they rotate the camera as Dom is like looking out a skyscraper window, just like, this is my city. That kind of shot. That's how you know it's big budget.
There's CGI. There's actual sequences. I'm pretty sure that was a very real freeway there. So.
Yeah. Speaking of high budget, the team is all together now, and they got gadgets galore.
And gizmos aplenty.
Yeah. That's basically, they're like, this is some James Bond shit. Like, we can't afford that. This is so above our pay grade. And they're just like, yeah, but this is how it is. Roman asks, like, so what? Now we're working for him? We're working for the Hulk now? Making fun of The Rock. And The Rock comes through the door and he goes, it smells like baby oil. Anyway, so The Rock comes in. Our target is Owen Shaw, former SAS agent. 3 years doing runner jobs. Basically, the idea is he is going to put together, they call it a nightshade missile, which is a fancy word for EMP.
Yeah, it's an EMP bomb.
Did we hear about this in another movie? Did they say the word nightshade bomb?
I don't think so. I mean, I can Google it, but I don't think so. Yeah. Basically, it's an EMP that could take out the United States.
Basically, yeah. It's a big-ass EMP. And they're like, well, that sucks, but, like, it's not going to work for very long. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, even if a soldier goes blind for a couple of seconds, he's dead. Like, we need this information. Mm-hmm. And Shaw is going to build this thing and sell it to the highest bidder. It could be worth billions. Mm. It could cause an intense amount of just widespread devastation. Shaw only has one Dragon Ball left to collect, and they're gonna stop him before they get there. And Brian's like, "Cool. What do we get out of it?" And he's like, "What do you want?" And he goes, "We want amnesty and full pardons. That's we want to be completely free and clear to go back to America."
But why? You have Spain.
Yeah, and he's just like, you know what? Sure. Well, he goes like, it's hard. I can't guarantee that. And Dom is like, yes, you can. Like, you can guarantee that. Do it or we walk. Dom's like, all right, if you complete this, you get your pardon and your amnesty. The guy we beat up earlier told us that Owen Shaw's hideout is in London. He's wired and he's like, he's going into the thing. He walks in and he's definitely in there. We have this whole setup. There's a bunch of police outside. Mm-hmm. The crew is up top in the skyscraper, just kind of watching everything go down.
Because we weren't invited to the party.
Yeah, basically. And the informant kind of explains what's going on. He's like, yeah, they caught me, but I didn't tell them anything. I did it. And he's like, all right, cool. Also, he's in like shadow for a while, as if we don't know what like Luke Evans looks like. And then he pops up and we're like, oh my god, it's Luke Evans!
Like, it's a surprise that it's Luke Evans.
Yeah, it's like, spoiler alert for The Mandalorian. Like when The Mandalorian takes his helmet off?
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my god, it's Pedro Pascal! I don't know why I was surprised.
I knew that.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, it's Pedro Pascal.
Sperm.
Yeah. Here's your sperm.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, watch a thing on YouTube where, what was it, a live read of
Community.
Pedro
Pascal does. We'll link it at the end of the show. So this whole thing goes down, and it looks like Shaw is going to shoot this guy because he's making all these illusions because he's fixing a car, and he goes, "That's the thing about these kinds of things. When one part stops working, you replace it with another part." And he like reaches under the table. Yeah. And he's like, "No, Shaw, don't, Owen Shaw, don't do this to me, Owen Shaw." And it's like, "That's him." And they like storm in to try to stop him from getting shot. And so Shaw takes something out from under the desk, and it's a bag of money. And he goes, "Here, your payment." He goes, "Oh, neat." He goes, here's more payment. And he goes, "What is this for?" Let's think of it as an advance. An advance for what? The next job. What next job? The job we're doing right now. Okay. He looks in the bag and it's a bomb. People flood in, and he drives out in what can only be described as a supercar.
Well, it looks like it's a race car.
It's a race car. Yeah, like it's a Formula One style race car.
That's what I mean. Like, it doesn't have like the slickness of a normal Fast and Furious car. Yeah. It's just Bones and Fury. Like
Bones and Fury would be a good name for like a Game of Thrones novel.
Well, if you finish the last fucking novel, like, we can move on with our lives.
So, while this is going on, they realize like the only person in there is Shaw. There's something wrong. Because nobody's at Interpol, because all the Interpol agents are here.
Why do we only have so many Interpol agents, and why are they all here?
Because we need to make this plot work. And so the crew realizes, like, oh, fuck, he's attacking Interpol. So the entire crew, barring Hobbs and Toretto, go to Interpol. These guys stay here to take out Shaw. We're only 20 minutes into this movie. Guess if this works. So Shaw drives out, hits a button, and the whole building blows up. And
it's a terrorist attack at this point.
Basically. But there's nobody in it, but it's basically a terrorist attack. He drives out through the fireball. You get a lot of that this movie. Mm-hmm. And he just peels out into the thing. Hobbs and Toretto go and drive to fix this. His car looks like a car from Grand Theft Auto 5 that you can, like, ramp off of.
Oh, yeah, because it has a slope on it, like, in the front end. Which we find out why it has that fucking slope.
Yeah, so he has this car where if he drives into you, you flip over.
Yeah, he's playing BattleBots. Like...
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, Shaw takes Hobbs and Toretto on a merry chase throughout the city of London, but his car is just too fast. It is a race car. Meanwhile, back at Interpol, everybody else kind of makes it, and they are shot by a sniper. There's a sniper on the roof, and he starts picking people off.
Yeah.
So they kind of run. Everybody's got a gun, because this is the kind of movie we're at now. And they kind of hide, take cover, and people start flooding out, and so it starts with a gunfight. Everybody takes cover, except for Giselle. Giselle, played by Gal Gadot, who, remember, was Mossad.
Mossad.
Which is the Iranian army.
Yes. I think they're like, what are they? Like Iranian SEALs. Like,
yeah. She is military trained. And she is the only one to stand in the middle of an open field with a pistol trying to shoot at the guy with the sniper. And she's almost shot in the dome until Han kind of spears her out of the way. Huh?
Look, the writing of Giselle has never once been consistent.
Not really, no.
It's possible they forgot she was Mossad.
Yeah, maybe, because it's not mentioned here. So the bad guys of Interpol drive away, so we chase them, and basically both chases kind of start intertwining with each other. The bad guys have these things that they're essentially hockey pucks. You throw out a hockey puck, it sticks to the car. The puck...
EMPs the car.
I was going to say, it's more like it takes control of the chips in the car, and like it locks up the wheel. So the cars stop and just like careen into walls and stuff. Everybody hits one.
Roman goes through a bank.
Roman goes through a bank like the safe in Fast 5.
Yeah.
This series hates glass.
It really does. Or it loves glass. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
And then
good point.
Was it fucking... Who else went into the concrete barrier? Was it...
It would have been... If that was Roman, this was probably Tej.
Was it Tej?
Yeah.
Tej goes into a fucking concrete barrier. Like, their cars are... I thought we killed them.
I thought they died. I thought they had died, but they don't.
Because, like, any normal person would not have survived that.
Yeah.
And then, like, I was like, whoa, we're just dropping characters. Like, oh, shit.
But no. So the last one gets thrown out, hits Brian's car, but Brian is too smart. And he, like, sideswipes a wall and gets it taken off his car.
And we never use that gadget again.
However, Shaw's car turns around, and he's like, plan B. If I can't outrun them, I'm going to flip them all over. And he, like, turns around and just headlines into them, flipping Brian's car up and over, and he just renders him useless.
Yeah.
Hobbs, because he's a madman and already sick of this shit, jumps from... It's one of those split roads where half of the road is, like, 20 feet higher, and the other one is, like, way down here.
Yeah.
So Hobbs, from the high ground, jumps out and off of his car and lands onto Shaw's car. And he's like, I did it! And he is immediately thrown off. You did nothing.
We do a lot of car jumping this movie.
Yeah. And, like, he lands on the ground and just kind of, like, starts shooting at the car, even though the car is proven to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
And he's just like, nah! Damn it. Dom has found Letty, which car Letty is in, and chases her to kind of, like, this quiet little spot. He gets out of the car, she gets out of the car, and he's like, Letty, we can fix this. And she shoots him in the shoulder!
Yep, straight up.
Shoots him in the shoulder, Dom goes down, she drives away. This surprised me until it was explained what happened, and then I got mad.
Fucking called it, though.
Yeah, you did. I was kind of hoping it wasn't what it was, but we'll see. So, back at the hideout, Roman is already sick of this shit. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this is way out of my league. Like, I said this before. This is not just robbing some people. They've got guns. And he says, when a woman with a gun starts shooting at you, that's a sign to back the fuck off. That's our F-bomb for the PG-13 film.
And Roman's pretty right on that one.
I concur. Dom takes the bullet out of his shoulder, and Brian is like, "What? Maybe she didn't see you." And Dom's like, "She looked me right in the eye, dude. She knew who I was."
Okay, I have a question though.
What's that?
Why is he taking the bullet out of his shoulder? Like, why is he trying to man through over? We are in England. There is free healthcare in England.
Because he's a man. And it looks cool to extract a bullet out of your shoulder.
Also, he should be bleeding all the fuck all over the place.
Yes, he should. So Brian is like, well, maybe it's time to just let her go. Like, clearly this isn't working out anymore. Mm-hmm. And Dom says, you don't turn your back on family, even when family turns its back on you. I disagree.
Yeah. Letty wants nothing to do with you, bud.
I get it. Like, you know, your family, and you can make everything work. When you have toxic members of your family, cut them out.
If they shoot you,
yeah,
get rid of them.
You can have close friends, but when they turn into dicks, get rid of them.
Yeah. I mean, like, there is regular dickishness where they drop kick you awake.
Yeah.
And then there's actual dickishness when they start saying bullshit about you wherever you are.
Yeah.
Right? The drop kicks are okay somehow.
Yeah, drop kick them all you want. But anyway, at Bad Guy HQ, Letty shows up to hand her keys in. And they are just like, who just fucked us up? And they're like, all right, here's the new guys. They're better than Hobbs' usual people. And we look through all the pictures, and it's us. It's the good guys. Mm-hmm. And they're like, look at this. And they show a picture of Letty and Dom. And he's like, you want to explain this? This look familiar? And Letty's like, yeah, that's that guy I shot.
Okay, so I'd like to point out that picture of her sitting on Dom's lap is also the picture they used at her funeral. Like, do we not have another picture?
Did you take more than one picture, please?
Like, do we not have another picture of Letty that doesn't include Dom? Like, what a weird fucking picture to use at her funeral. Like,
yeah, right? That's a good point.
It's like saying, remember Letty, Dom's girlfriend? We are here to acknowledge Dom's girlfriend as we commit her to the ground.
We are here today to remember Dom's girlfriend. Letty something or other. Letty, Dom's girlfriend, Ortiz. So she's just like, hey, what's all this? And Letty says she doesn't remember him. All I know, like, he's the guy I shot. I don't recognize this guy. Mm-hmm. And Owen is apparently okay with this and moves on. So I don't know what I was expecting, but amnesia isn't one of them.
Oh, come on. We already knew that the writing in Fast and Furious isn't great. Like,
I know, but I was hoping it would be better than amnesia. It's just so, like, it's one step above. It was all a dream. You know, like...
It's true. Contract dispute? What contract dispute?
Yeah, it's just so, I don't know, it's hackneyed and
It is, but how else are you going to explain that Letty's working for the bad guys now?
I don't know. Figure it out.
They did.
Yeah, they did. They picked amnesia. I don't know.
They had 2 weeks, and they decided to blow 13 of those days on hookers and coke.
Boy, did they.
And on the 14th day, they went, oh, shit, how do we explain this?
Oh, yeah. So, back at the good guys HQ, they look at the pictures of all the bad guys. And Roman points out that it's like looking into a bad guy evil mirror of us. Because look, there's an attractive black guy, that's me. There's an African guy wearing a hat, that's Tej. Right there, that's a white Hobbs. And he points to a lady and goes, Brian, when did you take these pictures?
And Brian just flips him off with a smile on his face, like, yeah, that's dudes being dudes. That's dudes being bros.
These are like I said, these are the moments that I really like. And there's more of them in this movie than there was in the last one. Of them just hanging out. They're all very, like, the chemistry is all very good between them all. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I think that's funny. And I said, I thank the movie for pointing that out for me. So they have a plan. They need to find out who made the mega car. We find out who made the mega car. We can find out where Owen Shaw is going. We also need cars that are fast but don't have computer chips in them, so they can't be overwritten. And so Tej is like, I got that. And Hobbs is like, no, man. This is my job. And Tej is like, I got this. There are cameras everywhere in London, making it the worst city in the world to commit a crime in. So they are going to go check the footage, see if we can gather any information on that. Hobbs and Ludacris go to this big-ass fancy car auction, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, it's a super fancy rich people auction.
Yeah.
Like, these cars are worth more than my life.
Yeah.
People are in suits. There are women in dresses worth more than our house. Champagne is being passed out for freezies.
Yeah.
This is what people are very white, is what I'm trying to say.
It's very white. So Hobbs and Tej show up. And Hobbs is like, you're not stealing all these cars, are you? And Tej is like, I got this. I got a plan. And Hobbs is like, great. That plan isn't I'm going to steal all these cars, is it? Tej is like, I got this. A guy shows up and he goes, excuse me, the help goes through the back. And they're just like, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Keep in mind, both of these people are the most colorful people in this
I was going to say, Ludacris is black and The Rock is black and Samoan.
And you're at a very white event. So I was like, excuse the fuck out of you!
And he goes, well, I can tell by the way you are dressed. Regular shoes, simple shirt, no suit. You're clearly not ballin'. And you, sir, you're wearing a regular outfit. Functional, but not elegant. So we cut to them downstairs, and they're just driving all the cars to Tej. Tej's plan was to buy all the cars.
And it worked!
Keep in mind, he's a 100 millionaire. And so The Rock is like, that was your plan? I will buy all the cars? And he's like, what do you want? What's the point of having money if you don't spend it?
And The Rock was like, for some dumb reason, I did not think of that.
Yeah, you know what? You got it.
That one's on me. That one's on me. Like...
So, and then just to fuck him up, they buy the clothes off the guy's back.
And his watch.
So Brian is like, hey, remember, I was a cop. I was a cop before, and I used my cop powers. There's only, it's very hard to get a gun here in England. So there's this bullet, the bullet that it shot you with, is a very specific brand that goes to a very specific gun that isn't sold very many places. We find out who sold the gun. We can find out where Letty and Owen are. Aces. Let's go that way. So we do that. We get a little bit of information. Not too much that we don't already know. And then Han, Giselle, Riley, and Roman are looking for fancy new equipment. And they find this guy firing the same kind of harpoon gun that we've been using throughout the series. Only it's on, steroids. It works super well.
So we're all going,
yeah. It's like, they're going to get that. And Roman's like, watch this shit. I'm going to fast talk my way into it. And Giselle's like, you're good at that. But there's one thing you're forgetting. And Roman's like, what's that? He goes, he's a man. And Riley and Giselle go down. And I was worried that they were going to play the... I am a woman, therefore sexy, and therefore you will do everything I say. Kind of sexual exploitation of the women. But they don't. Giselle and Riley go down there, and they're just like, hey, give us the information. And he's like, no. He's like, cool. And so they break his arm. And he's just like, all right, cool. Time to give you some information.
Meanwhile, Han and... was it Roman?
Yeah.
Are up on the balcony, and Roman's like, he's singing the Hercules songs, like, oh, look who's in love.
Yeah, he's just like, so you and Giselle, huh? You guys, pretty close. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because you got stars in your eyes. You love her. You want to kiss her. And he's like, shut up.
He's just like, you better buy her a rock or something, like.
Yeah. You better buy her a huge rock, or you better be huge somewhere else. And Han goes, is that why all your women are wearing a lot of jewelry? Cha! So, that was fun.
And then he goes on this tangent like, he's a man. What the hell does that mean? What does that make us? And he's like, shut up, dude.
You are thinking about this way too hard. Watch this. So as they go inside, the guy hits a button on his phone because he's working for Shaw.
He calls him.
Yeah, and he gives him the information. So Shaw sends in a bunch of guys and Letty. And we get into a gunfight.
And Letty.
So firefight breaks out. The guy whose arm we broke gets shot and killed. And
I swear to God, I thought we killed Gal Gadot here.
I thought so too.
Because she was not available in this firefight for 70% of it.
So, I is it right? I think it's Gal Gadot who comes to him and goes, "It's okay, just tell us the information and we'll get you out of here." And the guy is like, Braga, and then he dies. And so she grabs his phone and he's like, "Who the fuck is? Oh my God, Braga! Arturo Braga, otherwise known as the big bad evil guy from Fast and Furious 4, where we met Giselle." He and Owen Shaw are working together. I do not know what Braga accomplishes, being that he is in jail. So this whole thing kind of breaks out into a fight scene. And this is where I realize that the fight scenes go on a little too long.
Maybe a little bit.
Especially considering that they just kind of get their ass kicked. Although Riley and Letty have a pretty solid fight.
That's true. Like, she tries to handcuff Letty.
Yeah, they fight with the handcuffs.
Kicks her off and uses the handcuff as, like, what's those things called? Knuckles?
Brass knuckles.
Can I also just say that the guy who came after Gal Gadot had stormtrooper aim, or she was so focused, like Wanted style, that she bent the bullets around her, and then had a one-shot, one-kill situation where she hit a moving target, like full speed on a bike.
Yeah. So the fight scene goes on. Han and Roman particularly get their ass kicked, and Roman gets up and tells Han, he goes, "Nobody needs to know about this, all right? Nobody. Ever." Letty goes back to Shaw and tells him that one guy died, and he's super flippant about it, which upsets her. And he's like, "Listen, shut up. Look, I care about you. When I picked you up from the hospital and you couldn't remember anything, I grew attached to you, and honestly, if you died, I think I might be upset. There could be tears."
Fucking called it.
So, Shaw and Braga are working together, and because we know, A, who Braga is, and B, where he is, we can go get him. So Brian is like, "Great, I'm going to prison." And he's like, "Well, he's in Los Angeles. If you go there, you're fucked.
Yep.
Like, you have so many warrants. You'll be brought into prison forever." And Brian is like, "Yes, but I know a guy." Here's what we'll do. I'll go into prison. I will talk to Braga, and then we'll get me out. Okay.
Couldn't just make a phone call there, buddy?
Yeah. So, Brian turns himself in, essentially. But he's got a guy on the inside of the police department, Michael Stasiak from Fast and Furious, the guy he worked under. And he's like, "Hey, are you fucking nuts?" And he's like, "Look, I get how this looks, but if this works, you're going to bring in Owen Shaw." And he goes, "Yeah, and if it doesn't, I get to bring in you." So basically, Brian is gambling his freedom. If they can get him in, get the information, and then get him out, they can bring in Shaw and everybody wins. If not, we can't get Brian out. He's going in under a fake name. Yeah. Fake identification, all that jazz. And it's like, you have essentially 24 hours. If you cannot get the information in and out in that 24 hours, we cannot save you.
Which sounds like its own movie in its own right.
Yeah. I was going to say, I kind of wish they spent a little bit more time on that, because that's interesting. We're in and out in 10 minutes.
Yep.
So inside prison, the time has come. They have this whole thing set up. At a certain time, the lights will go out, the cameras will shut off, and the doors will unlock. And so they can go talk. Brian stays in his room, and Braga shows up. And he's like, hey, you're a cop. He's like, yeah, not only am I a cop, I'm the one who arrested you. Hi! And Braga's like, listen, I've been keeping tabs on you since I've been inside. It's fun to come over to the dark side, isn't it? Now you're a criminal, but also I'm still mad at you. And he's like, yeah, so, fuck happened with Letty? Remember Letty? Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah. So here's what happened with Letty.
And so we do some retconning.
According to Braga, he knew that Letty was undercover. Because if you remember, the reason why she died is because Brian had her undercover. She was found out and they killed her for it. Because she was trying to get Dom to come back. If she succeeded in it, Dom would win amnesty.
Yeah, that's true.
So they knew she was undercover from day one. And so when Phoenix came in, she was marked for death, basically. Hit her with the car. And as we saw, she didn't die from the car crash. So she crawled out. And Phoenix is like, I got a gun and I'm going to shoot her. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm going to shoot the car. He shoots the car, which causes an explosion, which also did not kill her, but it did push her several feet into a ravine. So it didn't kill her. Nobody checked.
Which apparently Dom's Sherlock skills did not pick up, despite the fact that he Sherlocked that whole situation.
Which he hasn't done since, by the way.
Neither before nor since, because apparently you're real bad at it, Dom.
Yep. She survived, but didn't have any memory. And the reason why they didn't go back and kill her again, because she can't remember. So what's the point of killing her? Which is stupid, but hey, whatever. We're in it to win it already.
And then they recruited her because I guess she still remembers how to do all the car thing.
Yeah,
but not
she's still a good racer.
Anything else about herself, which is a weird memory.
Still remember her name was Letty, though.
Maybe they just told her name was Letty.
Yeah. So anyway, Braga and his men try to attack and kill Brian inside of the prison cell, but everybody was kung fu fighting. So Brian takes out 3 guys at once because he is Brian O'Connell, damn it. And he gets Braga down. He takes one of the shivs and he's like, give me information. And he's like, you're never gonna do it. And then he does it. He stabs Braga in the tummy. He's like, fuck. Okay, man, damn. Here's the thing. He's too far ahead of you. Owen Shaw is 2 steps ahead of you. The only way you're going to get to him is if he wants you to get to him. Other than that, you're screwed. So he's like, all right. Stab. And then I think they both survive. Because that's the end of the Brian in prison saga. The next time we see him, he's just back in London. At a familiar-looking, super loud, yet somehow underground racing ring, Dominic has followed Letty and challenges her to a race. And she is like, she's not like, hey, didn't I shoot you? And shouldn't I continue the murder of you by me? But she is like, you got balls showing up here. And Dom is just like,
In traditional Vin Diesel style, yes.
So they have a street race.
They flirt. They have a street race. Yeah. It happens.
Who wins?
I do not recall.
I don't either.
I think it's Dom.
It's probably Dom, because Dom can't lose. Anyway, it's not important who wins. So they get out and they start talking, and they're just like, hey, we know each other. And she's like, I kind of figure that, but I don't know who you are. And he's like, that's okay. And he takes that cross necklace that he wears and gives it to her. And she's like, this is yours. It belongs to you. And he's basically trying to use these moments to like jog her back to memory. After she leaves, Shaw shows up. And he's like, hey, Dom, how's it going? Booby. You are going to die. You and your friends are dead unless you leave. And I am giving you that chance. Leave, or I kill you and your family.
Which fucking sucks.
Okay? And Dom is like, no. Because he's a moron. We track Shaw's next attack to a Spanish NATO base. Shaw's crew basically is going to assault a highway military convoy carrying a computer chip that he needs to complete the device.
Because we need a MacGuffin.
But they figure it out. He's pulling the same con he did before. Mm-hmm. He's not chasing the convoy. He's part of the convoy. They're doing the thing where they split the crew again. But they figured it out this time. So Brian goes up to Dom and he's like, hey, Dom, what happened to Letty was completely my fault. I put her in danger. I got her killed or unkilled. And the reason this whole thing is because of me. And he's right. It's
that's fair. I mean, Letty could have held her own goddamn pistol on her, but...
Yeah. And Dom is like, look, it doesn't matter what happened. Mm-hmm. What matters is what we do next. That's for her. Mm-hmm. He goes, what happened to you in the past, that's for you. Whatever you learned, that's for you. What happens next is for her. That doesn't make sense, but okay.
Sure.
So as they go down to chase the convoy, Tej is like, hey, Letty's going to be here. She's going to be a part of this. If we attack them, we attack Letty. Mm-hmm. And he's like, that sucks, but we're going to do it. So we are driving on a big ass highway. And they have like this big, I guess it's like a trailer kind of thing that they're pulling. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, we're going to get that guy and pull him over and we'll be okay. And then that big truck crashes. And then out of the crash comes a tank.
Yeah. It's very... Okay, so remember the harpoon gun? We, somehow shot it across a freeway.
Yes.
Just to stop this car. And it holds the thing, yes, which a tank comes out. So, in order for that to happen... I'm very confused about the logistics of this.
Out of this trucky cocoon comes a tank.
Yeah, and it's hauling ass.
It's not any of your, slow tanks that you see all the time. It's going 60, 70 miles an hour. And it is just destroying everything in its path.
Yeah, tanks only go 20 miles. They're supposed to be slow.
Yeah, no, this is a street racing tank.
Which is a very Fast and Furious thing to have. A street racing
absolutely.
tank.
This ain't just some regular pissant car. It's a whole ass tank. Like a gigantic army tank. And Tej is standing there and goes, sorry guys, we're going to have to come up with another plan. They got a tank. Brian says that the plan is to do what they always do. Improvise. Mm-hmm. Idiot.
They have a tank!
Tej goes, no, we need a plan. We need a plan B, C, D, and E. Man, we need more alphabets. Whatever Owen's plan was before, it is now just crush cars.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why. I think he's using them to, throw shrapnel and stuff their way. But he's just crushing cars and occasionally shooting stuff. Basically, he's playing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, why not?
He's in a rhino tank, and he's just crushing stuff.
And then, if that stuff happens to hit the people that we're looking for...
Great.
Okay, I have a question. At a certain point during this chase, people on the free, random passerbys, decided that they're going to abandon their cars and just, leave the freeway.
Yeah.
First of all, how did they know this clusterfuck was coming? And second of all, why would you just abandon your cars?
It's best to just get away from anything that can crush it. I don't know.
It's a very confusing...
It's a weird set, yeah. So they catch up to Roman and they go to fire a shell at him. These things are meant to take down other tanks, and we're gonna fuck up a Nissan.
Yeah.
So he realizes this and he slows down. So he's actually
under the gun.
Yeah, he's under the gun, literally. Mm-hmm. And basically the tank is tailgating him. And he's kind of stuck in that position. And he's like, look, I can't go faster because they'll shoot me. I can't go slower because I will be crushed. Somebody help me! So Shaw shoots out a bridge to try to slow everybody down, but it doesn't really impede anybody. It just gives Brian a ramp to go off of.
Yeah, it just looks cool.
So Brian goes off the ramp, switches lanes, and drives right beside Roman's car, so Roman can jump from his car to Brian's.
And again, we jump off of something onto a car for the second time in this movie.
But so far it's still cool.
Yeah. It never really stops being cool. I'm just saying. It happens a lot.
It happens quite a bit. The tank runs over Roman's car, and it begins dragging it. Essentially, there's like a little line that's connecting them.
Yeah, it was the harpoon gun.
The harpoon gun, exactly. So they're like, okay, now what do we do? And Brian, or I think it's Dom, who's like, that old car would make a great anchor. Excellent. So they drive by and try to flip that hunk of car up and over the railing. So it will, like, pull them out and they'll crash. Which they are successful at. And then so Shaw's like, Letty, get up there and sever the line. So Letty comes out and they're just like, oh, fuck, it's Letty. We are in way too deep already. She's going over. She goes to cut the line, but she's too late. The weight of the car flips the tank, and Letty is shot put, like catapulted off of the tank.
Yep.
Dom sees this, and I think just jumps.
Yeah, he like...
Using just like immense power in his man legs.
And like the momentum of his car. Like he rams his car into like the cement barrier.
Ah, right.
And it catapults him. Like, yeah. And he catches Letty fanfiction style.
It's basically a spear.
Yeah.
Remember, they're probably 40 feet above the ground.
Yeah.
Where the road is. And then there's like that little space in between that we knock the car into.
And I think we're also over a ravine or some shit.
Yeah. So, like, they collide in the center over that hole. And then, I guess, for some reason, Dom had more momentum. So he's like, spears her down and they land on a car.
And Dom's back goes right into a windshield. Dom shouldn't be walking anymore. His spine should be gravel.
The best reaction shot is from The Rock, who's in a helicopter watching this whole thing. And he looks down and he goes, Jesus Christ. Wow. So that is the end of that. We have Shaw. We have Shaw. We have the chip. The plot seemingly over.
And most importantly, we've killed the mega tank.
We killed the mega tank. Brian goes to Letty and apologizes, saying that this is kind of the whole thing that happened to you is my fault, and I'm sorry. And Letty goes, look, I don't know who you are, and I don't know much about who I was, but I know enough about myself to know that I'm not going to do anything I didn't want to do. So it's not your fault. Whatever happened, we did it together. Giselle and Han, they're just like, so now that this is all said and done, we got full amnesty. What do you want to do? And Giselle's like, we're going to Tokyo. And Han is like, why? Because we keep saying we're going to do it, and we never done it. Let's go to Tokyo.
Let's settle down. Let's do the thing that people in their 30s do. And Han's just like, so what size wedding band do you...
So is it a size 6?
Do you want a nice... I'll get you a nice house.
So Hobbs and Shaw come through the door, and they're just like, we got him. Ha, idiot. We're all going home, boys. And then Hobbs is like, hey, you're going to want to have to listen to this. And Shaw is like, hey, how's it going? Can't help but notice I'm arrested. That sucks. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to let me go. You're going to let me take the chip. And I'm going to walk out peacefully. Because if you don't, Mia Toretto will die. Cut to Spain, where Shaw's men have kidnapped Mia Toretto. And I think Elena and Jack get away free.
Yeah, okay, so this is very confusing for me. So they see the convoys heading towards the house, and I guess Mia and Elena are like, we don't have friends.
We don't have a convoy.
And they're just like, we need to GTFO right now. Elena gets over the wall. Mia hands Jack to Elena. And then for reasons I don't understand, Mia goes back in the house.
I think Mia wants to make sure Jack gets away. So she's using herself to distract them.
Then why don't you let Elena do it and you take Jack and make a run for it?
Because
Elena had the gun!
Yep. That's basically what it is.
Good God, Mia!
Okay, she's not the brightest, but she's trying. So the British agency who's taking Shaw in, they're like, okay, that sucks. We're sorry it's happening. But this chip can save millions of lives. and we're weighing one person over millions of deaths. I'm sorry, we're gonna go with the millions of deaths every time. Mm-hmm. And The Rock, for some reason, points a gun at him. Like, shut up, let him think. Mm-hmm. And he's like, listen, Toretto, if you do this, if you let this happen, words like amnesty and words like pardon are no longer on the table. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Dom's like, you know what? Let him go. We'll figure out a plan B. So Shaw, they uncuff him. He takes the stuff and he walks out. Letty's just kind of standing there looking at him. And he stops and he turns around and goes, coming, babe? And Letty shakes her head. But Riley stands up and goes, I'm in! Riley was a double agent the whole time. Because Gina Carino can fuck herself.
You said that was the last time you were going to say her name.
Yeah, but it fit. Yeah, Riley was basically a double agent.
What a jerk.
Proving to Dom, Owen keeps saying, you're so far behind, you're not even in the same game. Mm-hmm. And he's not. That's why things keep failing.
Oh boy.
So, Letty stays put, but Riley leaves. That sucks. Mm-hmm. So, we now go to our finale, which is the world's longest airport. Airport runway.
Well, it's an army base, right? So, we're talking...
It is a single runway, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So, we chase after him because Tej blacks everything out. Complete communication shutdown. They cannot call to have Mia killed. Mm-hmm. But Mia is with them, but they were being chased. I don't know. Point is...
So, Mia is on the mega plane.
She's on the plane, yeah.
Which... Roman appropriate calls, that's not a plane, it's a planet.
Yeah, it's a huge cunting plane.
Yeah. You could probably fit the entire army in there. Mm-hmm. But, so Mia's on that plane.
Yeah.
And with Big Pudding Head, the big...
Great big pudding head, square brick man.
Square brick...
White Hobbs.
White Hobbs. What's that word? That Hitler used? Not Armenian. Aryan looking... motherfucking, like, if you imagine an Aryan man that's a big square pudding head, it's this guy.
It's this guy. She was on the plane with that guy, and then I guess they were keeping her hostage fairly close.
Yeah, I guess. So that way they can make a trade-off, but how the fuck did Owen know they were gonna... I don't even know. Nah. Fuck. Anyway.
So we are on the world's longest runway.
Yeah.
This whole thing takes place as the plane is taking off. Mm-hmm. The whole finale takes place on this runway. It is a cool finale, but a regular runway is 1.8 miles.
Okay, but how long is an army runway?
1.8 miles.
Still?
Yes.
Fuck.
On this, the Fast and Furious 6 runway would have to be... How long do you think the runway is?
It would have to be like 50 miles.
It's 28. It is 28 miles on average. And so I did some research to look this up because it was just outrageous.
Yeah.
And so I was reading it, and the way they said it was like, the runway would have to be 28 miles, which just pushes this film into the realm of the ludicrous.
Well, he is here.
No shit!
He is here, so.
What's that? Oh, yeah, Lucas. Yeah, exactly, right? What were we expecting?
No, but what? The most ridiculous thing, I don't care about the 28-mile one runway. Right. Sure, whatever. Like, fuck. It's a Fast and Furious movie. But a tank that can go 100 miles an hour?
I was gonna say, you just saw that and this is weird to you? Like, at this point, it's like you're watching Iron Man and going, that's ridiculous. A suit that heavy could never fly.
You know, someone said that.
I know, and fuck them. Fuck them to death. Like...
I know, but...
you can make jokes about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is the longest runway in the world.
It has to be. Like, this has to be just a series of runways.
Yeah, but if you're the kind of guy who just be like, well, that's ridiculous. I can only suspend my disbelief so long.
Well, my disbelief kind of got suspended when that plane the size of the military base was on it. Like, seriously, if you use The Rock is a 6 foot, 10 feet wide man, and he is a mini next to this
You would need about 8,000 rocks.
You would! So many! Like, the wheel alone is like 4 Fast and Furious cars.
Yep.
Like, he wasn't kidding about this. This thing isn't a plane, it's a planet.
Yeah. So Dom, Letty, and Brian board the aircraft, and they just hit Riley with a car.
Yeah, because fuck her.
Everybody else kind of stays on the outside, trying to kind of keep things kosher out there.
Their job is, because the plane's taking off.
Yeah, to stop the plane from taking off.
Stop the plane. Throw something in the engine. And if I've learned anything about being on planes a lot, is it doesn't take that fucking much.
Not really. So their idea is to take out the flaps under the wing so that the plane can't take off. So we have Giselle, Han
on one side,
and then eventually Brian and Mia, and then there's another couple.
And then Tej and
Roman
are on the other side, taken out.
Trying to figure that stuff out.
And then everybody else is in the middle of the plane because this is a D&D campaign that's gone sideways.
So I this is where I figured out why these action set pieces take so long.
Yeah.
It's because the entire the cast is big, and the entire cast is in the action at once.
Yeah.
So everybody has to kind of get their equal shots in. And I understand you want everybody to be on the same level, but there's 7 of you.
That's true.
Like,
there's so many.
You know, you gotta kind of space it out a little bit. So Riley and Letty are kind of doing the fist fights. Rock and Puddinhead are doing their fight. And I think Dom is trying to help out the Rock.
Yeah.
Or Dom's looking for Shaw, but, you know, it's hard to...
And the Rock's having a wrestling match. Like let's be real.
Absolutely.
He is. There's a flying Superman punch in there. There's a choke slam. I want points for knowing these wrestling moves.
Absolutely. That's my wife.
But no, it's a wrestling match. What is happening here is a wrestling match.
At one point, The Rock, like, Oberon martels him by, like, sticking his thumbs into the guy's eye.
Yeah, and he straight up rock bottoms a guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's not...
He hits him with, there's, like, a spine buster, and then he jumps the superhuman high and hits him with a Roman Reigns style Superman punch.
Straight up stealing his cousin's move.
Yeah, right? Letty and Riley are still kind of fighting around. Letty kicks the door open, and Riley kind of like flies out and like brings herself back in. So The Rock throws her a harpoon gun.
Yeah.
And she points it at her chest, fires it, it goes through her chest, and she goes out the door, horribly killing her.
Yeah, there's no way she survived that.
There isn't. Bye-bye. So now... Meanwhile, while this is going on, Roman and Tej are trying to hit the flap, just like Giselle and Han tried. Giselle shoots the thing up. It hits, but it doesn't pull it out. It pulls the car with it. So the car is now dragging behind it, and then it's kind of like angled as it's trying to rise up.
Yeah. There are cars dangling from this.
Yeah. Same thing happens with Tej and Roman. Tej, I think it's Roman, he shoots the thing. And Tej is like, "Did you hit it?" And he goes, "Yeah. You're going to want to buckle up." So there are 2 cars on the Han and Giselle side, and they're kind of like fighting a bad guy on the car. Giselle slips and gets knocked out, and she falls. And Han runs up and grabs her and saves her from falling. And he says, "I got you. I've always got you." But he can't see that there's a bad guy coming up behind him.
Ready to shoot his ass.
But Giselle can. So in order to save him, Giselle lets go of his hand, shoots the guy to save Han, and falls to her death. And I was A, taken aback, and B, legitimately bummed out.
Me too. And I'm also fucking livid. We killed Gal Gadot. Guys, this is not okay.
You can't kill Gal Gadot.
How dare you? She is Gal Gadot. Han, feeling all our rage, suplexes this guy into the fucking turbine.
So Han has always been like a demure kind of guy. And he's just like enraged. The guy's not dead. The bad guy's not dead. So he stands up, they fight for a little bit. He picks him up, and like you said, just like pop-up suplexes him into the engine of the plane.
And that'll do it.
I was gonna say, fuck hitting the flaps on the underside. That's gonna do it hardcore. Brian saves Mia, so they get in the car and drive out and away, and they're also hitting the flaps on the underside. They're the only people who are successful. Shaw, at this point, Shaw is the only guy basically left inside.
Yeah.
But Dom refuses to let him leave without dying. Despite the fact that this plane is going to crash.
100%. Yeah.
It is not off the ground and it's going to crash. It is on fire. It has got cars dangling from it. It is rough.
Yeah. There's holes in the wings. Like, this plane is going down.
So Shaw's like, I'm going to get in the car and I'm out of here. This is not going the way I planned it. So he grabs the chip. He gets in the car and he's like, away! And Dom is like, no. He gets into the car, takes the chip, kind of knocks him out a couple times, presses down on the gas. The car lurches forward, hits something, just like a stop in the middle of the plane. Shaw gets launched out of his chair through the windshield and out of the back of the plane. I imagine killing him.
Well, for the rest of the movie to work, it has to kill him. Right?
Yeah. So that's the end of Shaw. The plane is about to crash, no matter what. And Dom is kind of stuck. Like, it's crashing. It's on fire. Mm-hmm. And Dom is stuck inside. So he drives, he gets into a car and drives. Everybody's just kind of like watching, seeing what's going on. And then through the nose of the plane, I don't know if you can do this. I don't think you can. Mm-hmm. But through the nose of a crashing plane, out comes Dominic Toretto in a car.
Yeah.
But the fiery wreckage kind of catches up to them. Mm-hmm. And there's just this big ball of explosion that kind of envelops everything. And when the dust settles, we're not entirely sure who all is still here. So they kind of stand there and wait and look, and he's not coming, and he's not coming, and he's not coming. And eventually, because nothing can kill Dominic Toretto but Dominic Toretto and heart disease, out comes, just shattered by fire. Not a scratch on him.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel, just like, hell yeah. And Letty runs up and gives him a hug. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we did it. Everybody's accounted for. And Mia goes, hey, where's Giselle? Where's Giselle?
Han, where's Giselle?
And Han just looks at her and he can't say anything. He just kind of like shakes his head and they're just like, oh, fuck. But in true Fast and Furious fashion, mm-hmm. This is given almost no emotional gravitas.
I mean, Han pretty much just says nothing for the last 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah, pretty much.
Despite the fact that he should have lines, you know?
Yeah. So Dom and Hobbs, they kind of stare at each other. He's got the chip in his hand, and Dom goes, so, this thing's worth billions, huh? And Hobbs goes, name your price, man. He goes, I got it. 1327. And I'm sitting there going, what? 1327 is the address of Dominic's house in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's what that means. I'm still confused up until right now.
Yeah. You can see it on his mailbox. 1327. They have gone full pardons, full amnesty. They're allowed to go back home. And so our next scene is them all having a big backyard barbecue.
Guys, Giselle just died!
Well, that's kind of, it's more of a get-together and kind of a remembrance thing. So we show Jack, Brian, we show Jack around his new house. Mm-hmm. And he's like, look, you have a big backyard now. Yeah, the air quality's bad and the traffic sucks. And why did we want to come back here?
And you have no health care. Oh my God. And this house is much worse than the house we were living in before. You want to go back to Spain?
And so he looks and goes, you even got a garage. You can start building a car with your daddy. And Dom goes, hey, that first car better be a Charger. And Brian goes, it's going to be a Skyline. Mm-hmm. He goes, you're sure? Mia, are you going to let this happen?
And he, gets up to go fight Brian.
Yeah, this is not going to happen. Han is kind of sitting kind of off to the side, talking to Tej and Roman. Mm-hmm. And he goes, are you really moving to Tokyo? And he goes, yeah, I have to. This is something I got to do. And I've been meaning to do it for so long, and now I absolutely have to. And Roman and Tej are just like, look, we're going to be with you no matter what. You need anything, you let us know. We'll be right by your side in a second. Which is kind of nice. Mm-hmm. Hobbs shows up, and Roman goes, Mia, time to hide the baby oil. And The Rock goes, hey, Mia, time to hide his big-ass forehead. And Ludacris spits out his drink.
And Roman's like, that is uncalled for. And he is, like, real sensitive about this. Like,
fun fact, that was improv. And Ludacris's reaction was legit.
Which means Roman was actually kind of hurt. Just like, hey, not that bad.
Hobbs turns up to make it official. At this point, they are completely free and clear no matter what. And Dom is like, hey, or Hobbs is like, hey, it was nice to work with you instead of against you this one time. Mm-hmm. And Dom is like, yeah, let's not make a thing of it, though. Elena shows up. Remember her? Elena has her badge on. I guess she's back working with Hobbs.
She has decided to wholesale abandon this whole thing.
Yeah. So Letty shows up to Elena, and she's like, hey, thanks for taking care of him while whatever was going on was going on. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, no, it's all good. You know, it's let's face it, it was never going to happen with you around, so. Mm. And even, like, Tej and Roman are standing in the background going, oh, this is going to be awkward.
Or hot.
Yeah, they both go. It's like, I think Roman goes, this is going to be awkward. And they both go, and sexy. So
what did they think was going to happen? Either A, they start fighting, in which case they were like, yeah, cat fight.
Yeah, it's cat fight.
Or B, he ends up with 2 girls, and that's just how he thinks
good for him. Yeah, basically Elena was like, look, the second we found out you were alive, I was out. I get it.
I mean, I would have abandoned him if I found out my husband was alive, so fine.
Yeah. So Dom kind of goes up and goes, you know you don't have to leave if you don't want to. Like, yeah, it's not going to work, but, like, you're always welcome here if you want. And she goes, look, this is your family. You guys are going to be together. She points to the badge. She goes, this is my family. And essentially we're just too different to work. It's not going to happen. Which, I mean, is a pretty mature way to go about it.
Yeah.
So they all kind of sit around. Roman absentmindedly takes a bite. And Brian goes, you took the first bite. That means you got to say grace. That's house rules.
Oh.
I like how they keep that up. Letty, by the way, still doesn't remember anything. Like, that wasn't solved.
Yeah.
She's just like, so Dom's like, any of this feel familiar? And she goes, no. But it feels like home. Mm-hmm. Whatever.
Sure.
Roman, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay.
I was just like, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Roman gives the prayer. A bless to those who we lost along the way. To the little one, growing up in a decent home with a family. Bringing Letty home. Giving them freedom. Everyone's happy. Curtain down. Or is it?
You forgot the most important part of that prayer. And thank you, Lord, most of all, for fast cars.
Yeah, so about 3 minutes into the credits, we get a flashback. Remember Tokyo?
Remember Shibuya Crossing?
So we catch up with that race with Han. Mm. We get to the point where they do that drift along the crowd.
Yeah,
where the crowd separates.
Crossing, you know, one of the biggest crossings in all of Japan.
Yeah, and we get to see, we're now catching up to the proper timeline. Mm-hmm. So as Han is driving, he gets T-boned by some guy, who we thought was just some guy. Mm-hmm. But it's not some guy. It's not just some guy. It wasn't an accident. It was, in fact, murder. And that some guy is Jason Statham?
Yeah, I guess.
Jason Statham stands up, gets out of his car, somehow unscathed, even though he just T-boned a man.
Yeah.
And he goes, Dominic Toretto. Boom! Car blows up, killing Han. You don't know me, but you're about to. Curtain down for real. I think this is probably the most put together film of the, what are we now at? Sexology?
Sure.
I think it'd probably be 10, 15 minutes shorter. I think a lot of the fight scenes kind of drag on a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
But this is probably the most entertained I've been.
We killed motherfucking Wonder Woman!
Yeah.
And I'm not thrilled, guys. I fucking love Gal Gadot. And here she is, forgetting all her Mossad training.
That was strange.
Forgetting, like, Giselle's backstory is a fucking mess.
Yes.
Like, who directed this? what is the name?
Justin Lin.
Justin Lin knows nothing about Giselle, and he invented her.
I suppose, eh?
You know, like, first she's Hispanic, and then he's just like, oh no, she was never Hispanic, she was Mossad. And then, like, in this last one, she's like, did I say Mossad? I meant good at stuff.
I meant with the, you know, good.
Cause, like, she fucking walks in the middle of an open area in the middle of a sniper fight.
That is like, not, admittedly, that is not great.
She fucking, like, gets her ass kicked every which way from Sunday. Like, what in the seven hells there, man?
Yeah.
But also, like, we're coming up on a thing, and I was just like, oh, Giselle's gonna meet him in Tokyo. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have more Wonder Woman, and we don't.
We don't. That is...
How dare you?
It is probably the first death that I was legitimately bummed out by. As fact. But she moved on to bigger and better things in Wonder Woman and significantly worse things like Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah. And
speaking of movies that could have been about an hour shorter.
Speaking of movies that are bad and qualify for this thing.
Justice League?
Yeah.
I don't want to do Justice League.
Neither do I. But I'm just saying it qualifies.
The next movie's going to be 4.5 hours long.
God, why?
I don't know, man. I lose my voice doing these.
But, like, here's the thing, though. She is great, and I love her, and why? Why? Answer me this! Is it because Han's storyline is now over?
No, probably just, contract disputes.
Okay, how much are we paying Michelle Rodriguez that we have to sacrifice Elena and Wonder Woman?
It's not so much what we're paying Michelle Rodriguez. It's that she's getting more money to play Wonder Woman.
I mean, yeah, but also...
yeah, but... Yeah, that is the end of Gal Gadot's character. But knowing how death means so very little, I'll bet you she's back by Fast 10.
You think so?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, we have to find a way to get Han back, and I don't know.
Yeah, so...
Han blew up.
Han did blow up, but so did Letty, and,
I think we might actually see the corpse next time. I don't
know. We'll see. We'll have to see next episode, as we go into Furious 7? Furious 7.
The Furious 7.
Which I believe is the Magnificent 7, and I think that's kind of a clever touch.
But, like, what even the fuck, guys?
So, outside of that, did you like the movie?
Yeah. The action scenes were pretty good. I mean, they're long.
Right.
But it's pretty good. Like, this is a big budget film. We had a tank that could go 100 miles an hour. Well, blew my mind. It was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. Stupid as all hell, but...
I mean... Like, we're not here for the magnificent storytelling, right?
Yeah, we're not here for a long time. We're just here for a good time.
So, you know, it's a pretty good movie.
What would you give it?
It's the best score I ever gave these movies. Like,
7.
Is it 7?
Last movie, you gave it a 7. I gave it a 7.5.
I see. I'm gonna give it a 6 because it wasn't as good as that one.
Really? You're going down one?
Yeah. Because it's not as good, and I don't think it sits on the same plane of existence. Plane.
Yeah.
But, like, it's still, like, I like the last one because it was a heist, and it was fun, and...
So you just like heists better than spy movies?
I like flinging, safes like they're goddamn morning stars. See, that was real fun.
I feel you.
And while there was a tank, we didn't fling it like a morning star.
Yeah, that is true.
So, you know, it's still fun, but it's not as fun.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give it... I think you're right in that it's not as good as 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to drop it that far.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with a 7. So I'm going to drop it half a point.
Okay.
But from... So that gives us a... You gave it a 6?
Yeah.
So I think that gives us a 6.5.
Which is fair.
Yeah. But from what I understand, the 7th movie is so far the best in the series.
Okay.
So I'm excited to see.
And yet no Gal Gadot.
And no Gal Gadot. Well, we'll live. She won't, but we will. So with that though, I think that's all we got to say on this. Unless you got anything else you want to.
Wonder Woman 2 was bad.
Wonder Woman 2 was bad.
And so is Justice League.
So is Justice League.
And Batman versus Superman.
And Batman versus Superman. Through no fault of her own, Gal Gadot's got mixed up in some crap.
Yeah. She needs to find a better agent. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, when you think of it, she's probably making money hand over fist. But like, true.
And we know who she is, so she's pretty famous.
Yeah.
But no. You know, these movies are fun. They're loud and fun, and
I think
let's throw stuff at the wall and watch it explode.
As I was watching this movie, I was like, this would have been good in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, hearing everything kind of around you, and you guys remember theaters? For those Gen Zs out there, a theater was a place where we all used to go, probably like 100, 200 of us at a time.
To watch a movie.
To watch a movie on a big screen.
Mm-hmm. They didn't come streaming to our houses.
Yeah. It was weird because like we used to just like raw dog each other's air. Like you would just be sitting right next to somebody and just be like...
There are 1-year-olds out there that have not known anything.
Yep.
Any different.
Children of the pandemic.
They're going to be real surprised about things like theaters.
Yeah. Bless them. But yeah, so I think this would have been fun to see in the theater.
Yeah, because it's loud and it's fun and it's would have looked great on a giant fucking screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great summer blockbuster, right?
It is. It's solid. But yeah, so unless there's anything else, if you want to follow us on Twitter, if you just can't get enough of our hot takes, you can find me on Twitter at EmptySquare, EmptySquare, cutes.
At Aquadia_.
And if you are so inclined and you're like, this is fun, I like watching this on YouTube, but I sure would like to have it on my phone and not have to deal with YouTube's bullshit. If only there was some sort of spot in which I could affy. You can! Search for Binging with Badness on Spotify, and we're there.
If you're listening on Spotify, thanks.
Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, hi. Ignore that last part.
We're, like, obsessed with, like, people who watch it and follow us, so let us know you're out there, man.
Yeah, let us know who you are, your name,
comment.
your age, your favorite color.
Leave a comment, drop a line, come and say hi.
For God's sakes, we're so alone. We've been in lockdown for a year.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so we're on there. If you listen to us and you like us so much, you want to kick us a couple bucks, or you want to see me in pain and want to see me do the Hot Ones challenge, you can go to patreon.com/EmptySquare, link in the doobly-doo, obviously.
Yeah.
To kick us a couple of bucks. Any amount of money is so well loved. You get a ton of stuff. You get early access to stuff like this, to Brightwall stuff. There's bloopers I've posted of me trying to record my last Brightwall script. That went well. Laughing at my own joke like a knob. So there's stuff like that. All kinds of stuff. Plus you get a direct line to us because if you pay us money, we legally have to talk to you. So if you're like, I got a question and I doubt he'll answer it, throw us a buck.
Want to know infinite movie knowledge? He's your guy.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. But, let's see, what else? I'm on TikTok. TikTok.com/EmptySquare or at EmptySquare on TikTok. That gets weird. Oh, boy. So you can do that. What else? OnlyFans? OnlyFans.com. No. The look of horror in your eyes for just a second is really funny. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie.
Should I watch the thing?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Go watch it.
I think so too. It's solid. If you're having a movie night with your friends, and you're like, we need something like that that's not too, like, it's fun, it's over the top, it's not bad, but it's not really a thinker.
Think about it too hard.
You got some nachos and some popcorn, you want to entertain some folks. Fast and Furious 6, excuse me, because it was Fast 5.
Be partially invested in a love story, but you don't want to go too much into the lore. You got Han
and
Giselle.
You got that whole thing. If you don't want to think too much, this is the movie for you. I liked it. But yeah, so we will see you next time. Also, if we're ever doing a live stream, we don't really announce them here, outside of the fact that like I schedule them, but usually only about a day in advance. If you want to know, if you want to know, Sorry. Twitter is the best place to go. At Empty Square, like I said, or Patreon gets exclusive live streams.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes we just do them for Patreon, so that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I've showed enough towards you.
Yeah. Well, what's the thing?
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.